and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over all you need to know about Series 26 for Forza Horizon 5, which is called Dia De Muertos, or Day of the Dead it translates to in English, which releases on Tuesday the 10th of October, with the festival playlist beginning on Thursday the 12th. It brings with it a selection of new cars as usual, some of which are in another paid car pack, which we'll get onto in a minute, but let's begin by getting straight into the new vehicles that are available in the festival playlist before we go over some of the details of that new pack. Starting with the overall playlist prize vehicles, which are a couple of Ferraris that I think have previously been available and of course are already in the game. In the summer season, which begins on the 12th of October, you'll be able to obtain the brand new to Forza Nissan Suru for 20 points, which is the most requested car for this game, and I think most requested car to come to any Forza game ever, which you might think strange, but everyone's wanted it in this game since launch, as it's a really popular car in Mexico, used for taxis and such ever since they kind of stopped using the Vocho, or the Beetle. I'm also really happy to report that you can turn the Suru into a taxi with some of the customization options that are going to be in the game, as well as there being a bazillion engine swap options, so there's going to be so much you can do with this car. I think it's going to be a super fun one. The Suru is also the car that's going to be in the monthly rivals for this series. And for 40 points in summer, there's another chance to win the Nissan Z if you haven't already. In the autumn season, which begins on the 19th of October, you'll be able to obtain the brand new to Forza Myers Manx 2.0 for 20 points, whatever that is and however it differs to the normal one. Anyway, it's another brand new to Forza vehicle to obtain, which is always a good thing, and it could be pretty fun to mess about with, I think, this one. And again, for 40 points, there's another chance to win the 2015 Subaru WRX if you haven't already picked this up. In the winter season, which begins on the 26th of October, you'll be able to obtain the brand new to Forza Ford Bronco Raptor for 20 points, which has some interesting options, including the option to pay many monies to remove doors. And for 40 points in this season, there's another chance to win the Plymouth Fury if you haven't already. And finally, in the spring season, which begins on the 2nd of November, you'll be able to obtain the Porsche 356 SL, which you might recognise from Forza Horizon 4, which returns from that game. And for 40 points, there's another chance to win the Vauxhall Lotus Carlton if you haven't already. That's not all though for the new cars. There is another additional paid car pack coming to Forza Horizon 5, just like the previous two that they've released. It's not included with any version of the game, so you'll have to pay for it if you want access to these new cars, even if you bought the Ultimate Edition of the game, for example. These new cars are the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 RS, the Elemental RP1, another Golf R, this time the Mark 8 I believe, and the KTM Crossbow GT2. I don't think this will be expensive, only £3 or £4 or equivalent in whatever currency you're in, but these packs are starting to add up a bit with this being the third one, and there's still a question of whether they should be charging more when the Ultimate Edition of the game was already very pricey. But anyway, there's some quite interesting cars in there, particularly that GT4 RS, so I probably will be getting hold of this and making some videos on some of the cars, so watch out for those in the coming weeks. As usual, there's also a list of bug fixes and things that I'll put on screen here, and as always at the end of the stream where they give these details, they tease the following series, in this case Series 27, which will be an American-themed series. This will see the return of the oval track in free roam, new race routes being added, a new collectible, and, as ever, some new cars. So then, not a bad update at all, especially considering we also have a motorsport game to be playing now. It has several new cars, including the most requested car ever in Forza's history being added, the Nissan Suru, as well as some quite interesting vehicles as well as that. There's another paid car pack, which again, I don't know what to think about. I can kind of see the argument both for having paid packs and for not wanting to pay more when you've already bought an expensive game, but whichever way, I will myself be getting hold of it because I want to try out those cars, particularly that Porsche GT4 RS. I'm also intrigued to see what cars and new tracks arrive in the American-themed Series 27, but for now, that's all we know about Series 26, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with the next one very soon.